बैठो फायरिंग कर रहे हैं वो लोग हाँ फायरिंग कर रहे हैं बंद करो बंद करो बंद करो बंद करो
Hello and welcome. As India and Pakistan are inching towards a conflict that many are saying is inevitable, and many are also saying that it has already begun, especially with the diplomatic offensive coming from New Delhi's side, and Pakistan also looking in different directions and at times not even knowing where to look when it comes to counter the beginning of India's diplomatic offensive. To discuss those matters further, we are joined by Ambassador Anil Trigunayat. He's a former senior diplomat. Ambassador Trigunayat, thank you so much for taking time for One India.
Thank you, Manojji, for inviting me.
Thank you, sir. Ambassador, how do you assess, first of all, this India's suspension of the Indus Waters Treaty as a tool of diplomatic pressure? Is this the beginning of water being used as leverage in future conflicts?
Well, water has always been used and water has always been a leverage because this provides you sustenance, and more so in the case of Pakistan. But as you are aware that the Pakistan for last 4 decades has been inflicting terrorism on India. Cross-border terrorism is an instrument of its foreign policy against India, and it has gotten away with it every time until a few years ago. We have tried to even provide them access to incidents that were perpetrated by them sometimes.
Right.
But they have not even, I would say, in a pro forma manner also, never tried to show any genuine concern about the kind of incident. So they are known as a terrorist state. And the world knows about it. The largest number of terror outfits are there. So India has been telling them for a long time. It's not from now. So what happened in Pahalgam is actually, in my view, has crossed all boundaries. And therefore, there has to be a fitting response. Now, response has to be in 2 ways. One is you start, we are a mature nation. So for the first, we try to do a military, diplomatic response.
Right.
And then second would be the military response or a covert response. So the diplomatic response was in several points. The number one point was what you mentioned about the holding the Indus Water Treaty of 1960 in abeyance. It's not abrogated. It is not fully suspended, but it's held in abeyance. Why it has been held in abeyance? The Secretary of the Jal Shakti Ministry just sent a letter yesterday, I think, to her counterpart, Ali Raza, saying that we have been asking for consultations for a long time, actually, and Pakistan has not come. And there are provisions. I mean, in the treaty, this is one of the most comprehensive treaties, actually, and very unique treaty in many ways. And it has provided the sustenance to Pakistan, but Pakistan was thinking that nothing is going to happen. But India has said clearly that the material changes have taken place, which are impeding our progress in utilizing that water that is our thing. So therefore, we have decided, and you continue to use terrorism against India, sustain terrorism. So that's why India has decided to put abeyance. Now, what is it? I mean, it's about the 3 western rivers, as we know, Indus, Chenab, and Jhelum, which go into Pakistan. 80% of its water goes to Pakistan. And Pakistan is a water-deprived nation. It's a lower riparian state. It fully depends on this water which comes from the Indus rivers. And therefore, whether it's agriculture in Punjab and Sindh, whether it's hydropower generation, whether it is industry, everything is dependent on this. 80% of water. So most of the people, and Pakistan, as you all know, that since the independence, they were water surplus country. They had very good water available, but they have very poorly managed it, and so today they are a water scarce country. So if India is able to prevent, and today there was a meeting, I think, with the Jal Shakti Minister at the residence of Home Minister, where they have worked out these 3 steps: the short term, the medium term, the long term. So this is not something this is going to go away just like that. This is a very well thought out procedure Of
Right.
course, you can't divert the water. But since, as you know, that this month Pakistan's sowing season will begin. So if you control the water flow or time, you can delay it somehow, then
Mhm.
you are going to feel they are going to feel the pinch. And it's only when
Absolutely.
the people in that country are going to suffer, like in India, they are suffering
Mhm.
from the bloodshed that these Pakistanis are causing. I
Mhm.
think that the people will rise against their own government and they will see what kind of policies they are following. So I
Right.
believe that it will have a very long-term impact on this.
Absolutely.
Likewise, the other measures that India has taken,
Mhm.
stopping visas, declaring their military people persona non grata. I
Mhm.
mean, those are all connected with security. They are not just like that. You have to stop the visas because
Mhm.
you don't
Mhm.
know how many of these terrorists have come in the form of either medical for medical work treatment,
Yeah.
or they have come for some kind of a ziyarat or whatever it is. You don't know who they are. So the
Mhm.
only way is to cut it off completely. And that's what precisely India has done. Likewise, stopping Atari border. So whatever little trade was there, about 450 million or whatever,
Mhm.
that's not there, but that will impact Pakistan greatly.
Right, right, right. Obviously, Ambassador, these steps that have been taken, which you elaborated upon, do you think that this is a complete breakdown of the conventional diplomacy with Pakistan, or do you see some room for strategic engagement in the future?
Well, at the moment, I think for last many years, as you are aware,
Hmm.
since after 26/11, we have seen what Pakistan has done. They
Hmm.
have not cooperated. They have been after that Uri. We
Hmm.
have also seen what happened to Pulwama. So Pakistan has continued to follow its policy of terrorism against India. And
Right.
therefore, India, Prime Minister Modi has clearly mentioned very clearly talks and terror cannot continue. So
Hmm.
therefore, our relationship has been at its lowest in any case.
Right.
And
Right.
today it is ruptured because we have reduced the size of our diplomatic missions. We have changed both sides. Pakistan has also retaliated in that sense. So I don't see that in near future we are looking at any kind of a goody-goody behavior either, because
Hmm.
Pakistan has not changed. I'm sorry to say, but as they say, that the dog's tail never gets straightened. So
Hmm.
it's
Hmm.
until unless there is a harsh response. So we have seen
Right.
the diplomatic response. Now we'll have to see how India moves forward into the next trajectory.
Right. Also, Ambassador, given your experience in multilateral forums, how can India leverage global platforms to, in a way, isolate Pakistan diplomatically over state-sponsored terrorism? FATF being one, yes, United Nations being the other, but is there any other way out?
But you have seen that in this particular incident,
Hmm.
nearly every major country in the world, whether in the neighborhood, West Asia, in
Hmm.
Europe, America, everywhere, every country has risen and has sided with India, which means what clearly? Which means that the Pakistan and its action puts it into an isolation mode. And that is going to be a problem. That's what your biggest victory is. That means today every countries are coming, that
Hmm.
whatever action you take, we're supporting you. Now that's your biggest gain at the moment is out of this adversity. So
Hmm.
the whole world knows now this is Pakistan is once again exposed very thoroughly. Now, what next? The next is that it will depend on what kind of an action we are going to take. Because see, many of these big powers, they always play geopolitics.
Hmm.
For them, my terrorist, big terrorist, good terrorist, all those kind of things they continue. India, the United Nations had proposed a comprehensive convention on international terrorism. Prime
Hmm.
Minister Modi went to the UN and spoke that unfortunately, not till today, we don't have a definition of a terrorism, even forget about fighting with it. The world has been recognizing non state actors. So there are these dual standards and double standards that are playing out, especially in the geopolitical domain. So I think that that will continue. We'll have to do that. But on our side, I have always maintained that we have to insulate ourselves from such incidents so that they don't occur. Because
Hmm.
once they occur, then the whole Pandora's box opens up domestically.
Right.
Right. It's a one time slip, and that causes a
Hmm.
major problem. So we have to find and seal it as much as we can so that there is no attack and create problems in that country as well. I mean, they are already in biggest problem at the moment, Pakistan. The Baloch issue is there, TTP is there. They also
Hmm.
Afghan problem is on their heads. Pashtun are also having problems. I mean, the Pakistan is on the verge of being not only a failed state, but also might even break up.
Absolutely, absolutely, and that they very well know. And I think the army and the government, in a way to divert the attention from those pressing issues, they are engaging in this proxy war that that has been going on. Now it's all the more direct. One final question, Ambassador
Absolutely.
Trignath. From the diplomatic lens, how do you interpret, as you also mentioned that lots of countries have expressed solidarity with India. So, diplomatically, how do you see India's shift from restraint, say from 2008, to retribution now? And how might this shape or reshape the regional equations and perceptions globally?
Well, what India has done is, in the meantime, I would say, simultaneously. For example, in
Mhm,
several countries in the Middle East, especially the Gulf countries, they
mhm,
were all very close to Pakistan. They were
yes,
overlooking what was happening. The
mhm,
United States itself was supporting Pakistan all through, irrespective of what they were doing, because they are the ones who have been from day one. And yesterday, as you know, the defense minister of Pakistan on
yeah,
television openly admitted to that they were working for United
all,
States
all,
and the West.
mm,
So all those things today, if you see, with the continuous work on these issues and the rightful approach that India has taken against terrorism, we are in a good spot from that point of view, from the diplomatic point of view. Now, those all the Gulf countries, they understand, they have all sympathized with India. Not only this time, but you see Article 370 abrogation, or for that matter, it was Pulwama and Balakot. At that time, they all supported India, or they said that this is India's internal matter. So,
mm,
despite Pakistan's crying with them, this did not work out, which is a very major achievement. You have seen that Pakistan is also very much dependent on Turkey, right?
mm,
The Shehbaz Sharif was sitting with President Erdogan, and
mm,
during his press conference, President Erdogan did not mention the word Kashmir, nor did he mention about India,
mm.
whereas Shehbaz Sharif was trying to rope him in. So that's also a significant change.
That
So I think that
earthquake changed a
that's,
lot for
yes,
perception. Yeah.
yes, those things, yeah.
Mm,
So what India is doing is we have emerged as a major responder, a responsible nation,
mhm,
first responder, and a net security provider in the sea when the Houthis are attacking and all that, so for the shipping. So the
mm.
world knows that India is pivotal today.
Right, right.
Strategic pivot is here. And that's the reason I think that we should leverage it and inform, like our foreign secretary invited all the G20 countries, all the friendly countries, briefed them about this, and also may have said about what kind of steps we'll take. So we
Mm.
are in our,
Get into
under
the.
the international law, and
Mm.
Pakistan, in my view, what it has done is by sort of suspending the Simla agreement or not adhering to it, I think they have allowed India an additional advantage.
Yeah, they have definitely shot themselves in the foot there
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it's only them who stand to lose as far as the Shimla Agreement suspension is concerned. Ambassador Tirunayat, thank you so much for taking time out
Thank you,
short
Manoj.
notice.
Thank you so much.
And we would really love to connect with you further. But thanks for the time being,
It's
and
been my pleasure.
we will be keeping a close eye on the developments. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Subscribe to One India and never miss an update.